Gundam has some of the best mecha designs in anime, but let's be honest, the series is not without its flaws. Today, we're diving into 5 more anime that do Gundam better than Gundam. Written and directed by Makoto Kobayashi, Dragon's Heaven is one of the most visually distinct and creatively ambitious mecha projects of the 1980s. If the name sounds familiar, it should. Kobayashi was a mechanical designer on shows like Zeta Gundam and Double Zeta Gundam. He's known for creating incredibly detailed, alien-looking biomechanical mecha designs. Some of his most famous designs include the O, the Double Zeta, the Boundock, and the Marasai. Set in the year 3195, Dragon's Heaven takes place long after a brutal war between humans and sentient robot weapons known as the Combat Armors has ended. The story centers on Cheyenne, a retired intelligent robot who once fought alongside a human partner in that war. After his pilot is killed in battle, Cheyenne powers down and enters a deep hibernation, dormant, forgotten, and slowly corroding into the desert sands. Cheyenne awakens centuries later when his sensors detect Ikuru, a girl caught in the middle of a renewed conflict. A rogue AI from the old war, El Madine, has returned, now leading a faction of machines under the revived Brazilian Empire. With no one else to stand against him, Ikuru and Cheyenne form an alliance to fight back. But this isn't just a story about war, it's about memory, loyalty, and the bond between humans and machines. Cheyenne doesn't just move or fight, he speaks, reflects, and even mourns. He's not a Gundam-style mobile suit, he's a full-on character. What makes Dragon's Heaven special isn't just the story, it's the aesthetic and atmosphere. The mechanical designs are wild, biomechanical, asymmetrical, and completely unlike anything else in the mecha genre. They feel ancient, almost alive. The animation style is equally unique, featuring heavy texture work and a distinct use of pointillism that gives the visuals a gritty, handcrafted feel. There's even a live-action prologue featuring human-sized animatronics built by Kobayashi himself. The attention to detail is phenomenal, and considering this was made in the 80s, the practical effects are absolutely mind-blowing. If you're into vintage sci-fi or Star Wars-style model kit work, this is a must. And yes, there are model kits you can buy. Most are rare garage kits from the 80s and 90s, but you can still find them on sites like eBay, Surugaya, Yahoo Auctions, and E2046. If you see one, grab it, because they are insanely hard to find. Time to get emotional. Gumbuster is a 1988 OVA and the directorial debut of Hideaki Anno. Yes, the same mastermind behind hits like Evangelion and Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water. But Gumbuster stands on its own as a brilliant sci-fi mecha drama. The story follows Noriko, a young pilot struggling to find her footing at a prestigious space academy. It starts off feeling like an action comedy and then slowly transforms into something much deeper, telling a gut-wrenching story about life, death, the passage of time, and the fragility of human existence. Even though it may seem like a super robot show on the surface, Gumbuster explores unique, hard sci-fi themes, especially the concept of time dilation in space travel and how it affects the people involved. It's a coming-of-age story wrapped in space opera, and the final episode, entirely shot in black and white, is one of the most unforgettable endings in mecha anime history. This was my most recent watch out of everything on this list, and it immediately shot all the way to the top of my greatest anime of all time, not just mecha. And let's not forget about that amazing score by Kohei Tanaka, who also composed music for One Piece, Sakura Wars, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The soundtrack is packed with dramatic orchestral cues and heroic combat themes full of unmistakable 80s style. The opening and battle music in particular adds so much energy and emotion to every scene. Gumbuster may not have the political complexity of Gundam, but emotionally, it's on another level entirely. And yes, you can build Gunbuster. There are quite a few model kits out there from a variety of manufacturers like Bandai, Aoshima, and Motoroid. If you like giant robots with existential dread, old school animation, and a surprising amount of heart, watch this. You will not regret it.
I told you! It's already too damn late!
We skipped over Patlabor in the last video, but this time we're diving straight into the heavy hitters, Patlabor the Movie 1 and 2, both directed by Mamoru Oshii, with Satoshi Kon contributing layout work on the second film. And let me just say, watching these films was one of the most visually stunning anime experiences I've ever had. This is peak hand-drawn animation. Every frame is rich with detail, atmosphere, and texture. The directing is sharp, deliberate, and visually arresting all around, especially in movie 2, as you can feel Kon's touch from ominous close-ups of fish in aquariums to unusual fisheye angles and strange off-center compositions. It gives the whole film a slightly unsettling dreamlike tone. There's this eerie beauty throughout that sticks with you long after the credits roll. The first Patlabor movie already marks a big shift from the tone of the original TV series. While the show leaned into buddy cop comedy, the movie goes on to a slower, more serious route. You still feel some of the warmth of the cast, but it's filtered through Oshii's signature lens. Urban sprawl, political paranoia, helicopters slowly slicing through fog. It's moody, methodical, and beautifully restrained. But Patlabor 2? That's the one. It's a dense, thoughtful, and quietly devastating political drama. There's barely any mech fighting, but that's kind of the point. When the Ingram units do roll out, it really means something. The movie feels less like a mecha anime and more like a real-world political thriller that just happens to feature mecha. It's a 90-minute meditation on modern warfare and the thin and maybe imaginary line between military and police power and justice versus injustice. And while it was released in the mid-90s, its message might hit even harder today. It's not a movie about explosions, it's a movie about control, fear, and what governments will do to preserve a sense of peace, whether it's real or not. If you're in this genre for high-speed robot action and flashy beam sabers, this one might not be for you. But if you're here for the political intrigue side of Gundam, or if you're a fan of Oshii's more serious work like Ghost in the Shell, this is absolutely worth watching. It's slow, yes, but it earns every quiet moment, and the vibes are immaculate. And of course, yes, there are model kits. Patlabor models have been floating around for decades, so you have a lot to choose from here. The Ingram units have multiple releases over the years from Bandai, Kyoto, and more recently Motoroid. They're clean, stylish, and just as timeless as the films themselves. Patlabor isn't about spectacle, it's about restraint, about what doesn't happen, and sometimes that kind of storytelling hits harder than anything else on the battlefield.
System boot up complete.
Okay, go to visual control mode.
Roger that.
Now we're going deep. Gasadaraki is a 1998 series created by Ryosuke Takahashi, the same mind behind Votoms, Dogram, and SPT Leisner. It's a slow-burning, dense, and often surreal mecha anime that blends military realism, political drama, and ancient Japanese spiritual themes. If you like shows like The Big O that layer mystery on top of mystery, the political complexity of Gundam, and the brooding tone of classic 90s mecha animation with a touch of traditional Japanese mysticism, Gasadaraki is a must-watch. It moves slowly and it doesn't hold your hand, but the way it all comes together is incredibly rewarding. The mechs, called Tactical Armors, or TAs, are a major highlight. These aren't flashy super robots, they look like they were pulled straight from an armored core. Utilitarian, grounded, and built for real-world combat. The animation sells their weight and complexity with cockpit POVs and mechanical precision that feel believable and immersive. But beneath all of that gritty realism is something stranger. Rituals, prophetic visions, family legacies, and a quiet examination of Japan's identity in a post-war, globalized world. And at times, the atmosphere becomes so dreamlike and cryptic, it almost gives off a Twin Peaks vibe. You're never quite sure if what you're seeing is political, spiritual, or something in between, and that ambiguity is part of what makes it so compelling. And yes, there are model kits. Bandai released a full line of 135 tactical armor kits, and they are seriously underrated. The designs are sleek, industrial, and absolutely belong on your shelf. These are going straight to the top of my want list. There's even a PS1 game for those interested in delving into the world of Japanese import gaming. You didn't think I'd forget Macross, did you? Let's be real. Macross is probably the only mecha franchise that can truly stand shoulder to shoulder with Gundam in terms of legacy. But instead of trying to cover the entire saga, I want to focus on two of its strongest, most accessible entry points, Macross Plus and Do You Remember Love? Macross Plus is a 4-episode OVA from 1994 that feels like Top Gun meets Gundam, with a deeply emotional core and a cyberpunk twist. It's directed by Shinichiro Watanabe, best known for Cowboy Bebop, and features a gorgeous sweeping score by Yoko Kanno. The mix of early CGI and detailed hand-drawn animation still holds up beautifully even today. The story centers on two rival test pilots competing to develop the next-generation transforming Valkyrie. But behind the military trials and high-speed test flights, there's a growing tension surrounding Sharon Apple, a virtual idol whose presence adds a surreal, almost unsettling layer to the narrative. The less you know going in, the better, but let's just say the story goes into some bold and unexpected places. Macross Plus is a mature, reflective take on technology, emotion, and identity. It's got action, yes, but also atmosphere, melancholy, and a level of polish that makes it feel like a full-on theatrical release. And the soundtrack is incredible. Tracks like Voices give the series this operatic weight that lingers long after the final scene. Then there's Do You Remember Love, the 1984 theatrical retelling of the original Macross series, and honestly, it's one of my favorite anime films of all time. If there's one thing you take away from this video, please watch this movie. It takes the core story of Macross and distills it into something more focused, more emotional, and absolutely breathtaking to look at. The animation is jaw-dropping, especially for its time, with hand-painted backdrops, fluid mech action, and a level of visual detail that makes every frame feel alive. But what truly sets this film apart is its emotional impact. It's a beautiful story about love, the nature of humanity, and the power of art. It builds to a climax that is so emotionally charged and moving, it will leave you with tears in your eyes. And the iconic theme song, Do You Remember Love, might just be one of the greatest uses of music in anime history. Together, Macross Plus and Do You Remember Love showcase everything that this franchise does best, blending high-concept mecha spectacle with deeply human stories. If Gundam is about war, Macross is about the human condition. And yes, there are tons of model kits. They have been releasing Macross models since the earliest days of the hobby, so there are tons and tons to choose from. They are detailed, posable, and absolutely stunning once built, and just as awesome as any Gunpla kit out there. There are also tons of video games in the series if that's more up your alley. These entries are proof that Macross isn't just a rival to Gundam, it's something that can stand entirely on its own. And if you've never watched a Macross series before, these are the perfect entry point. So those are my final 5 picks, 5 anime that dare to challenge Gundam on its own turf. Whether it's Gunbuster's emotional gut punches, Patlabor's political precision, or Dragon's Heaven just being its unapologetic weird self, each of these series brings something fresh to the mecha genre. But did I miss one? Drop a comment and let me know what you think is better than Gundam. I'm always looking for underrated gems, and I'd love to hear your picks. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe, and consider becoming a channel member. Members get exclusive videos every month, access to our Discord where we talk Gunpla, retro anime, and all that good stuff, and it's one of the best ways to support the channel so I can keep making videos like this. And if you've built any kits from these shows, or if you're just planning to, definitely join the Discord and post some pics. I would love to see what all you guys are building and working on. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember, sometimes the best mecha anime isn't Gundam. Or is it? Alright, see you guys in the next one. Bye!